when I think about longevity, when I started in longevity, people said, what is that? What does longevity mean? And to me, it means proactive preventive care.
The biggest impact interventions we've seen for women start with, putting hormone therapy aside, a stress management program, like number one for women, like just controlling that like cortisol, that like autonomic nervous system, just having a practice around that, because that influences sleep. We're all living with it too much. So some sort of, how do you tackle that in your day, the rhythm of your day, to really like not have that inverted cortisol pattern, not have that like being in fight or flight mode. So it's that breath work, if it's a bath, it's what, nailing that is like, I think the biggest thing we see for women, like in order, then they get the energy to tackle some of the other stuff. Really working on like your daily kind of rhythm in that way around food and sleep is probably number two. And then for me, like lifting weights.
Additionally, I think the part we leave out the most as doctors, because we live in a really paternalistic medical system, is what do you want? What's your goal? And your main goal is about bone health, and you need to lift weights at this time of day because that's when your kids got to get to school. And you can't do that without something in your mouth. Mm-hmm. So that's how I think the radical individualism comes into play now.
Yeah, I want to hear about I could share over my last sort of 4 years of doing this, the little things I do in my day, and I'd love to hear yours, because I like that point. Like, what is, like, if you can really dial in a few consistent things, it can make such a massive difference. So for me, what's really changed my life is I do 8 minutes of breath work, specific pattern in the morning. I have breakfast with my children. I'm like there, I'm staring into their eyes. I'm like dealing with their screaming and punching each other. Drop my kids off at like 7:15. I do a 10-minute walk with my husband so we can have just some quality time. I am working by 7:30, and I haven't looked at my phone until then. And it has like massively changed my life. Plus, I eat greens first at every meal. My refrigerator is like kale, chard, spinach, and I like saute it. I put something different in it every day, a little vinegar, a little turmeric, a little ginger, a little garlic, a little something, and I just force them in. I feel like with that, I can do whatever. I can go have like a pizza for dinner and like, I'm good. I'm like processing, like, so those.
Lynn's still in her 40s. Let's just get real.
So those changes.
We're running around tending, most of the time as women, we're the caregivers. And we're tending to our children. We see this all the time where a mom comes in to the doctor. She wouldn't dare miss her kid's orthopedic appointment. But what's that massive melanoma that's on her back? Like, she has not gone to the doctor for that in a year and a half. And that's super common. So as you slow down the world around you, which I've learned to do with the meditation. So I have my 5 minutes of I stare at the flame. And I will tell you that has had a profound change on my energy level at the end of the day. So I've built in that, and I always, I do a 30-minute walk with my dogs. The difference is I take my digital break at the end of the day. So I cut off devices at 6:30, period. End of story. Thing that causes agita, we should really avoid at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer in lifting weights and getting comfortable with lifting heavy weights.
Totally agree with that.
That's one of the things that we do in our clinic is we'll do like a 5-week with a personal trainer, getting women comfortable with form in a women-only space, how to lift heavy, how to feel comfortable, do like the right movements. What's interesting about lifting, it doesn't have to be time-consuming, it doesn't have to be torturous. Like just lifting really heavy, and even if you only do like 6 reps, sometimes that can do way more than you're doing like a HIIT class and you're doing like 2 minutes of something. Like, so it's actually faster, it's more comfortable. Actually, if you like really burn yourself and like you're really working with like a trainer who can get you there, it's like you can do a short, high impact, like really get metabolically healthy and like change your body composition with something that's like not a torturous cardio hour-long situation. And that's like a lot of things that we haven't been taught how to do that. Sometimes when I go to the gym at the Olympic Club in the city, it's like so old bros network, like they just look at me and they're like, why are you in here? You know, like go over to the treadmill kind of thing, you know? So it's like, that's the reality, you know? So, again, we're changing that and like, you know, teaching women how to like get confident and also realize you're not going to get bulky. It's like very few people. Krista.
But it's my job.
But women do not get bulky from lifting, from strength training. If anything, it improves your body composition more than almost anything else you could do.
And it's the basis of the chronic disease we're looking at, longevity, right? Which is in the top 5 causes of death, osteoporosis, and how do we affect that? Bone density, 1 is estrogen, as you mentioned. 2, very powerful, is weightlifting. And 3 is the right supplements. So there is a supplement routine. And, I think with supplements, having what you can count on one hand, maybe having different ways to take them. And again, the atomic habit. If you're going to commit to fish oil, you're going to do it every day, every morning with a healthy fat. Most supplements need to be absorbed with a healthy fat, or you just make what we call expensive urine. You're just peeing it out. So I'll tell people, if you don't have a fat nearby, don't take it. You're literally going to just pee it out. So a healthy fat would mean an avocado, a bite of yogurt.
Cottage cheese, that's my favorite.
Cottage cheese. There's only so many powders, lotions, and potions you can put on in the day. So what's going to go in? What's going to be that atomic habit? You can't do it all. You really can't. And I actually, quite frankly, even if you said, this is my life, I'm going to do it all because I have those patients, I don't see them even absorbing it. I just don't see it. I think you have to be really targeted in your approach. Back to the question about exercise, the 150 minutes of cardiovascular training is because cardiovascular disease is the leading killer of women. Right? We've all been trained to be deathly afraid of breast cancer. And that is part of the fear basis around hormones. But really, it's more than likely we're going to die of heart disease if you're betting. So getting behind how we can properly do a deep dive screening for heart disease and being willing to treat really aggressively, really thoroughly is super important too. I'm actually very optimistic and very hopeful because I see changes that are happening, and they're happening so much more quickly now. Thank you all for getting on the journey with us and seeing the value in what we're doing, because we really are changing the future for women in America, which we all, I think, know we need to do radically.